Good morning, Year 7, and welcome to 2021. I'm sorry that we can't be together in the classroom as we should be, but we'll try and do the next best thing. So here I am, and we're going to begin our new unit of study in English for this half term. This half term, we'll be looking at Greek myths and at the stories that they created over 2,000 years ago. We'll look at very specific stories. Today we'll be starting with the story of Prometheus and Pandora. And we'll have a chance, hopefully, to look at some of the great heroes, like Hercules and Theseus, and a number of other stories concerning the gods themselves, like Persephone and Demeter, and so on. So let's get started. One reason why we're looking at this, and we're going to begin at the beginning of these stories, with the creation myth of the Greeks, is to answer some of these questions that you can see on the left side of the screen. For example, what is mythology? Why are we studying it? And within that, there are questions that people have asked for thousands of years and still ask today. For example, how was the universe created? And who created the creators? Who created humanity? Where did we come from? More specific to what we're studying, who are the Greek gods, or who were they? Why do humans even exist? How did our world end up the way it is? These are questions that we might have today, and they were the same questions that the Greeks had many thousands of years ago, as well as the many cultures that existed around the Greeks. Because while we'll be studying a very specific group of stories that maybe answer some of these questions, of course the Greeks did not live on their own, and they were surrounded by other people who had their own stories that influenced each other. But for now, let's focus on the ones in front of us. We're going to switch over now to reading the first of our stories. The Beginnings of Man, Prometheus and Pandora. What were things like in the very beginning? This is a question which has puzzled men of all times and places. None know the answer for certain, because the records of history do not go back far enough. Like other races, the Greeks asked themselves the question, and the answer they gave was this. In the beginning of time, before the creation of heaven, earth, and ocean, there was chaos. Vague and dark, neither liquid, solid, nor vapor, a mixture of all three. Everything was a shapeless mass, in which lay hid the seeds of things as they were later to be. At last, the oldest of the gods brought order into chaos and separated heaven from earth and earth from sea. The heavens were clear and filled with innumerable stars. The earth was dry and contained hills, valleys, and plains. The sea flowed blue and green in its restless currents about the shores of the world. Of all the elements that made up chaos, fire was the lightest. And so fire rose up highest and formed the heavens. Earth sank down, and ocean remained below, bearing up the earth. The earth began to put forth trees and grass, and in these the creatures of nature ran and climbed. Fishes swam in the fresh rivers that flowed down the valleys. Other kind of fish inhabited the ocean. So things began after the creation of heaven, earth, and sea. Then one of the gods, it is not known which, thought that a nobler creature was wanted than all the animals of the air, the land, and the water. Some creature wiser and greater than they. So man was made. The creator of man was the giant Prometheus. He came of the race of the Titans, a giant people who were born on the earth before man. Prometheus saw that man must be made from the earth, since only gods could be made of heavenly substance. He took handfuls of earth and kneaded them with water into the shape of a god. What separated man from all other animals was that, while they crept on their bellies or ran and trotted about on all fours, man alone walked upright on 2 feet. While other creatures looked downwards towards the earth from which they came, man looked upwards to the heavens, because he had been made in the image of the gods who dwell there. It was to Prometheus, the Titan, and his brother Epimetheus that the gods entrusted the work of making man and fitting him to live on earth among the animals. It was a special task of Epimetheus to provide the creatures with the qualities and parts they needed. Swiftness to the tiger, strength to the lion, wings for the birds and fins for the fishes. The fox was given cunning, the wolf ferocity, and the elephant his huge size and his thick, leathery skin. But what was to be given to man, who was to be greater than all other animals? He could never have claws like those of the tiger, nor speed like that of the horse. He could not fly like an eagle or grow horns like a deer. Even the little hare was faster than he, and the spotted leopard better at hiding himself among the trees. How could man live in a world full of creatures such as these? His skin was fine and soft, his teeth and nails small, his whole body unfitted to survive without some greater power. The truth was that Epimetheus had used up all the gifts in his possession and had nothing special left to give to man. So he went to his brother Prometheus and asked him to help. "What can I give man?" he asked, "to make him stronger and greater than all other creatures?" "We must give him..." Okay, so now we're going to turn to some questions about what we've just read together. And the question at the end is going to be, what did Prometheus give to man? In our next lesson, we'll finish this opening myth, this opening story, and we'll see what it was, but I'm asking you to kind of predict and imagine what the next step might have been. So at this point, you'll find in Teams a worksheet with a series of questions for you to ask, for you to answer based on what we've just read. Good luck with those. Once you've completed your work, please upload it to Teams so that I can check that you're able to do the work today. If you have any difficulties with this, this is fine, but give it your best go and we'll see how you get on. Take care, keep healthy, and see you next week.